I imagine having to drop everything and cover Walt Disney's subsidiary product announcement as a film and entertainment journalist is sort of like having to cover the White House for a global news bureau in 2019, right? Like, you don't want, hey, look what dumb thing this bunch of jerk-offs did this week to be the story with more immediate global impact than whatever you'd actually prefer to cover, but it kinda does, and it's my job. Anyway. The D23 Expo has concluded. Black Widow has a poster, 3 new Marvel Cinematic Universe connected streaming shows have been announced, Black Panther 2 is dated for 2022, and we know a tiny bit more about what a few of these things are about, and Spider-Man is 2 giant entertainment companies haggling in the press over the price of a decision they don't have to make right away either way, using social media as leverage, so there's no reason for anyone to get all heated about it. And besides, I guess someone let, like, an actual villain from Captain Planet become president of the rainforest, so we're all kind of f***ed anyway. So how about some
baseless, algorithm-chasing, Marvel speculation!
To keep us all distracted as we ride this Snowpiercer straight into the apocalypse.
Shall I try Miss Parks? Might as well.
Okay, so now we know what Marvel Cinematic Universe Phase 4, now with TV stuff you actually have to watch, looks like, unless they add another Spider-Man and another Avengers. Lady Prequel, Friends of Steve R, Sexy Rainbow Space People, Sorry About Iron Fist, Not Legion, Oh Yeah, You Never Got a Part 2, Let's Take Care of That, Graphic Design is My Passion, Market Research for Future Projects the series, a Goofy movie but with Legolas and Katniss, and Natalie is Our Friend Again. But what we don't know is what the big story is. By which I mean by the end of the first Iron Man and Incredible Hulk, people pretty much understood that the vague overarching goal that isn't necessarily a storyline but feels enough like one that you're obligated to follow it was eventually shoving these guys into the Avengers, and then by the end of that movie you kinda got the sense that before everyone was too old enough to keep doing this, they'd all fight whoever the purple guy at the end was.
Where did that bring you? Back to me.
Well, now that's all been handled and the purple guy's been fought and the game is still running, so what's the new reason to keep this going? What's the new thing that's gonna tie the overarching in-between stuff of all of this together? Well, I think I've got a theory, based solely on information available, the way Marvel has operated in the past, and their general MO so far of borrowing from some of their popular comic book storylines to get fans talking between the movies for free advertising, but also updating those stories to be, comprehensible to regular humans.
I do not understand.
I do. I understood that reference.
And since I'm trying to keep this to one episode, we're going to cut some corners and compress some details to get this done really, really fast. So, comics are weird, blah, blah, blah. Hit up the Google if you want more specific details, yada, yada. Okay, so the biggest WTF in the lineup by far was WandaVision, because a show about Vision and Scarlet Witch just chilling out happy sounds odd, and also Vision is dead, leading many to speculate that the series would involve some kind of dream or alternate reality time travel, since in the comics, Wanda's very vague and hard to explain and kind of silly powers involve being able to rewrite the fabric of reality itself if she wants to. She and Quicksilver are also raised as babies by a midwife who is an artificially hyper-evolved humanoid cow. Her name is Bova. I don't think you'll need to know that, but aren't you kind of glad you know that now? Anyway, in the comics, when Scarlet Witch and Vision got married, they moved to the suburbs and had 2 kids of their own, even though he's a robot using magic and science because comic book, but it ended up badly because the 2 kids weren't actually real, or rather more unreal than they were supposed to have been, and the devil, like literally the devil, was involved in all of... Look, they changed what was actually going on here a few times retroactively, but basically the kids were blinked out of existence in the end, and this was so traumatic everyone who knew about it agreed it was just best to wipe the whole incident from Wanda's memory and just never bring it up again.
Not a great plan.
No, really, that's how they left it. Someone with the power to end the world by thinking about ending the world has a go-crazy trigger phrase. Everyone just try not to bring it up. This was really stupid, and everyone really did act like it never happened for a few decades. Then in 2004, Wanda remembers her kids and goes crazy, was used as the inciting incident for Avengers Disassembled, which ended the original version of the Avengers and kicked off the entire 21st century Marvel Universe event storyline cycle, including New Avengers, Illuminati, House of M, Civil War, World War Hulk, Secret Invasion, all of it. Like even that thing where Spider-Man made a stupid mind-erasing deal with the devil, that was part of this too. The whole thing. Oh, also House of M was the one that established she can create an alternate universe or multiverse if she wants to. So the fact that the MCU versions of Quicksilver and Vision are both back in some way for WandaVision seems like a pretty clear tell that the series will be doing a Scarlet Witch creates a fake happy ending alternate universe storyline. And that it's probably not going to end well for her, because these things never, ever end well for her. And the fact that the series will shortly be followed on the release schedule by Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, in which she's scheduled to be a supporting character, leads me to ask the following question. What if what they're not saying yet is that WandaVision is going to end so badly for the title characters that Wanda isn't just the co-star in Doctor Strange 2, she's the villain? I mean, incidentally, regarding why specifically Wanda's psyche broke down in the comics, Multiverse of Madness is kind of an awkward title, but it's also an acronym. But there's more. We also know more about Falcon and Winter Soldier, which people thought might be about the two guys fighting over Captain America's legacy and who gets the shield, but might be about them fighting about that, but other people over the same thing, because Wyatt Russell is now confirmed to be playing a fan-favorite character named John Walker. In the comics, Walker started out as a kind of right-wing, my country, right or wrong, unquestioningly nationalist wannabe version of Captain America called Super Patriot, but he gets hired by the government to actually replace Steve Rogers as the official real deal Cap during the famous 1980s Captain America No More storyline, because quitting the mantle under Republican presidential administrations that the writers didn't care for is kind of a thing Steve does semi-frequently in the comics, actually. Anyway, when that story ended, Walker continued on as U.S. Agent, basically the bootleg Fox News talk radio version of Captain America. Here's the thing, for obvious reasons, though Walker himself isn't always a full-on villain in the comics, he or some incarnation of U.S. Agent is often the go-to guy for evil version of the Avengers bad guy teams like the Dark Avengers or the Thunderbolts. And while the Dark Avengers replacement team originated as an upgrade of a new Thunderbolts incarnation during one of the event books cascading out of the post-disassembled, post-House of M New Avengers stories, that would take way too long to fully explain, the original Thunderbolts, actually short version on both of those, bad guys pretending to be good guys as a cover for bad guy stuff,
everybody got that? Good!
first showed up in the aftermath of a different Avengers and also X-Men and Fantastic Four seemingly destroyed by powerful psychic breaking reality storyline in the not all that fondly remembered 1990s Onslaught saga, which I'm not explaining again unless it turns out I'm really on the money with this bullshit and like Scarlet Witch is the MCU Onslaught, in which case...
I am so tired.
Yeah, anyway, those first Thunderbolts were a master plan by Baron Helmut Zemo, and Daniel Bruhl is confirmed coming back as his incarnation of Zemo for Falcon and Winter Soldier, in case you forgot that they left that guy alive. So, with Walker, him, and several other still alive villains to work with in this mega franchise, including that guy whose middle name is Thunderbolt, is it possible that the reason we haven't seen an Avengers movie announced for this phase yet is that the twist is actually going to be Avengers 4 being Dark Avengers?
Moments oh, it's so dark.
Hell, extrapolating even further, a lot of the post-Phase 4 build already being set up has involved younger people as superheroes as opposed to the mainly middle-aged heroes of the first three phases. Hawkeye is about Clint Barton training Kate Bishop, Miss Marvel is a teenager, so is Spider-Man. Now let's be real, they will sort that out and he'll be back in there one way or another. And they've alluded to Cassie Lang getting her father's giant man powers a few times already, so maybe following Dark Avengers in Phase 4 with Young Avengers in Phase 5, and then like New Avengers in Phase 6, or maybe Avengers Reassembled would be the most logical second Avengers trilogy. You know, with all the other movies filled in between that. I mean, that makes a certain amount of sense to me. Or I could be completely wrong and everything is just a build to X-Men vs. Galactus or somebody. Anyway, that's my theory. I'm sure we'll find out if I'm right or wrong. I'm Bob, and that's the big picture.